Good day, KNPians, and a big hello to everyone watching around Kolehiyo ng Pantukan. I am Teacher Chris, here in Information and Communication Technology. In today's episode, we will discuss the disassemble and assemble system unit of a computer, which will help you gain a better understanding of how each of these parts works together every time we use a computer. So bring out your pen and paper and join me as we build your knowledge towards a better future one skill at a time. Welcome to ICT2 by Mr. Guarin, and this is KNP Eskwela TV.
Dito sa TV Eskwela, sa pag-aaral sama-sama, inamin natin ang kakayahan, matututumunawa. Dito sa TV Eskwela.
Before we talk about our topic today, we will find out first, what is computer? The word computer comes from the word compute, which means to calculate. A computer is an electronic device which stores and processes data to give meaningful information. Processing is done with the help of instructions given by the user, which and also stored within the computer. And now let us know about a step-by-step guide to personal computer, disassemble and assemble. In this article, we learn are the parts of a computer, how to disassemble a computer, and how to assemble a computer. Before we proceed to the tutorial proper, we will talk about first the parts of a computer. The computer system is made up of following external devices: CPU cabinet, monitor, keyboard, mouse, and printer scanner. How to disassemble a computer. Step 1. Detach the power cable. The disassembling of the computer system starts with externally connected device detachment. Make sure the computer system is turned off. If not, then successfully shut down the system, and then start detaching the external device from the computer system. It includes removing the power cable from electricity switch port, then remove the cable from SMPS or switch mode power supply from the back of the CPU cabinet. Step 2. Remove the cover. The standard way of removing tower cases used to be to undo the screws on the back of the case. Slide the cover back about an inch and lift it off. The screwdrivers, as per the type of screw, are required to do the task. Step 3. Remove the adapter cards. Make sure if the card has any cables or wires that might be attached, and decide if it would be easier to remove them before or after you remove the card. Remove the screw, if any, that holds the card in place. Grab the card by its edges, front and back, and gently rock it lengthwise to release it. Step 4. Remove the drives. Removing drives is easier. There can be possibly 3 types of drives present in your computer system: hard disk drive, CD or DVD Blu-ray drives, floppy disk drives, almost absolutely nowadays. They usually have a power connector and a data cable attached from the device to a controller card or a connector on the motherboard. CD or DVD Blu-ray drive may have an analog cable connected to the sound card or direct audio output. Step 5. Remove the memory module. Memory module are mounted on the motherboard as the chips that can be damaged by manual force if it applied or improperly. Be careful and handle the chip only by the edges. SIMMs and DIMMs are removed in a different way. Step 6. Remove the power supply. The power supply is attached into tower cabinet at the top back end of the tower. Make sure the power connector is detached from the switchboard. Start removing the power connector connected to the motherboard, including CPU fan power connector, cabinet fan, the front panel of cabinet power buttons, and all the remaining drives if not detached yet. Now, remove the screws of SMPS from the back of the cabinet, and the SMPS can be detached from the tower cabinet. Step 7. Remove the motherboard. Before removing all the connectors from the motherboard, make sure you memorize the connectors for assembling the computer if required, as that may require connecting the connectors or at its place. How to assemble a computer. Step 1. Mount the processor. The first step of assembling the computer system starts with mounting the processor on the processor socket of the motherboard. To mount the process, you don't need to apply any force. The special ZIF or zero insertion force sockets are usually used to prevent any damage to the processor pins. Once the processor is mounted, the heat sink will be attached on top of the processor. The CPU fan is also attached on top of the sink. Step 2. Fix the motherboard in the tower case. Now the motherboard is fixed vertically in the tower case and the screws are fixed from behind of the motherboard. Step 3. Connect the power supply. Now line up the power supply at the top back end of the cabinet and screw it. The power connectors for motherboard power supply and CPU fan power supply are to be connected. If the cabinet cooling fan is required, then it is to be screwed at the back end grill of the cabinet, and its power connector is to be connected from SMPS. Step 4. Install the drives. Install the CD or DVD drives at the top front end of the cabinet and screw it. Install the hard disk drive and floppy disk drive below CD or DVD drive and screw it. Make sure once screwed, there is no vibration in either of the CD or DVD hard disk or floppy disk drives. Step 5. Connect cables. Now select the appropriate data cable and connect one end of the cable to each drive socket and another end at its appropriate connector on the motherboard. For SATA hard disk drive or CD or DVD drives, use SATA cable and its power cable, else use IDE data cable. Do the proper jumper settings as per the usage requirement. Step 6. Mount the memory modules. It is time now to mount the memory modules on the motherboard by aligning the RAM to its socket on the motherboard and press it downward. Make sure the side tab are fixed into the RAM notch. If not, you may still have to press a bit. Step 7. Install the internal cards. Install the internal cards to its socket and attach the cables or power cable to it. The selection of right socket or slot is required as per the type of socket. Step 8. Cover the tower. Cover the tower by placing it and pressing towards front side and screw it. And lastly, Step 9. Connect the external devices and power. Connect the external devices with CPU at its appropriate socket. It includes mouse and keyboard at PS2 or USB connectors, monitor at the video output socket, connect the power cable to the back of tower in SMPS, plug in the power cable to the electric board.
Well, we've reached another part of our program and I do hope that you learned a lot from our topic today. In our next episode, we will discuss another topic. Once again, I am Teacher Chris here in ICT World. Before I end this cue, I would like to thank first to Mr. Guarin, the ICT instructor of Kolehiyo ng Pantukan, leaving you a message that before posting something in social media, think before you click. This is KNP Eskwela TV.
ating ang kakayahan, matuto tumunawa